The Honourable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Senior Counsel, Member of Parliament, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator the Honourable John Jeremy, Senior Counsel, Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honourable Ernesto Kiza, Member of Parliament, Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, other very distinguished Cabinet Ministers, Members of Parliament, Ministers of Government, Parliamentary Secretaries, Ms. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Mrs. Karinsa Tulsi, Permanent Secretary, Acting, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Jennifer Neidhart de Oritz, Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Mark Rudder, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Ms. Paula Drakes, Commissioner of State Lands, our distinguished guest, Mr. John Adil, Vice President of Global Exploration, ExxonMobil, Upstream Company, Mr. Paul Riley, South America Exploration Manager at Exxon, management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, our very distinguished President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, Comrade Roger, joining us at this historic occasion, specially invited guests, members of the press, good afternoon to all of you. It is my pleasure to announce the signing of an historic production sharing contract for Block Trinidad and Tobago Ultra Deep 1 between the Government of Trinidad and Tobago and ExxonMobil Trinidad and Tobago Deepwater Limited. This Block 1 is a merger of 7 blocks which were previously designated as Trinidad and Tobago Deep Atlantic Area 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. This is, of course, in one contract area now. It is situated in the eastern deepwater area of Trinidad and Tobago in water depths greater than 2,000 meters with an area of 7,165 square kilometers. By way of reference, the surface area of the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, the surface area, is 5,128 square kilometers. What we are awarding today is larger than the surface area of the country. Today's signing is a result of the successful direct negotiations between the Ministry of Energy and ExxonMobil and the endorsement of this outcome by the Cabinet of the Government of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, although bid rounds are the preferred method of award, direct negotiations is allowed in the Petroleum Act and have been adopted by the Ministry of Energy as an additional approach in the effort to accelerate and optimize the exploration of our country's hydrocarbon resources. In December 2024, the Ministry received approval to engage in direct negotiations with ExxonMobil for an award of a production sharing contract for the blocks in question. Intense negotiations followed, which resulted in the agreement on terms for the production sharing contract. They were mutually beneficial to Trinidad and Tobago as well as ExxonMobil. Both the Ministry's team and ExxonMobil's team are to be congratulated for their sterling contribution in successfully completing the negotiations within a relatively short period of time. The ultra-deep marine area represents the country's best prospect for the discovery of substantial hydrocarbon resources. To date, we have had some success with discoveries in the southeastern and northeastern area of the ultra-deep water area. These discoveries were based on the work of BHP Billiton, now Woodside, and their partners BP and Shell. That activity arose out of acreage awarded in the period 2012 to 2014, when 9 deepwater blocks were awarded by the then government of the People's Partnership. However, those blocks in the northeastern marine area, which were held by the consortium of Woodside and BP, have been progressed to the point of commercial potential, with gas reserves in the region of 3.5 trillion cubic feet. The ultra-deep water Atlantic margin comprises the extreme eastern portion of Trinidad and Tobago's marine area. Geologically, the area comprises the tortuous portion of prison of Barbados waters, which is considered a prime target for oil and gas exploration. 3 analogues have been compared to Trinidad and Tobago, compared to our ultra-deep water area. These are the Guyana-Suriname Basin, the Ghana-Tano Basin, and the ultra-deep waters of Nigeria. In all 3 of these areas, major oil finds were discovered. The eminent geologist and petroleum industry expert, our own Dr. Krishna Prasad, is of the view that there are significant resources of oil and gas remaining to be found in the various geologic basins of Trinidad and Tobago. Estimates of yet undiscovered oil are in the range of 5 billion barrels. The ultra-deep marine area offers the greatest prospect for such discovery. Previous drilling campaigns in the ultra-deep water in Trinidad and Tobago have been moderately successful, as they have not fully tested the petroleum system within the complex structures. Ladies and gentlemen, new 3D data acquisition and updated imaging workflows employing full waveform inversion will provide a better understanding of these complex geologic nuances and improve the chances of hydrocarbon discoveries in Trinidad and Tobago. As Mr. Adil told us, ExxonMobil is well equipped with the technology to deal with this major challenge. The growth of the deep water sector is among the most impressive and dynamic aspects of the energy industry over the past 25 years. In the early years, the limits of technology meant wells could only be drilled in water depths of around 1,500 meters, whereas today's most capable assets can drill in water twice as deep. Many key advancements have made this possible, including everything from the design of drill ships and semi-submersibles to the innumerable cast of other high-pressure, high-temperature technologies. The advancement in technology alone means that challenges presented by the country's ultra-deep water sector have largely been addressed. In ExxonMobil, the government has a partner with one of the most active deep-water explorers on the planet, with aggregate in Guyana, Angola, and the Eastern Mediterranean. Exxon's success in Guyana's Stabroek Block is one of the biggest stories in the global oil and gas industry for the past 10 years. ExxonMobil has a track record of rapidly deploying technologies and methods to safely develop a wide range of resources, both onshore and offshore, in diverse locations around the world. The company was responsible for Trinidad and Tobago's advent into deep water when it was awarded in 1998 by the Pandey government production sharing contracts for blocks 25B and 26. These blocks are off the coast of Trinidad at the edge of our deep water area, closest to shore. This earlier project was not successful. However, this has not deterred ExxonMobil, as evidenced by today's signing. The renewed interest in Trinidad and Tobago is an indication of the confidence of ExxonMobil in the hydrocarbon potential of the deepwater area of Trinidad and Tobago. This interest may in part be related to the corporation's successful exploration activity in Guyana, which has thus far yielded the discovery of almost 11 billion barrels of oil equivalent. Studies suggest a potential link between Trinidad and Tobago's deepwater areas and the petroleum systems in offshore Guyana. ExxonMobil has committed to undertake a minimum exploration work program for this block, which includes the acquisition of 5,500 square kilometers of 3D seismic during the first phase of the exploration period. The acquisition of seismic survey is scheduled to commence within 12 months of the effective date of our signing. This will be complemented by geological and geophysical studies. Ladies and gentlemen, the acquisition of this seismic data and the conduct of geological and geophysical studies will be essential to reducing geological risk. At a minimum, ExxonMobil has also agreed to the drilling of 2 exploration wells, with one of these wells in each of the optional second and third phases of the exploration period. Drilling will serve to validate the hydrocarbon potential of this ultra-deep water frontier area. With respect to financial obligations, agreement in respect of the following items was successfully secured: administrative charge, minimum payment, training contributions, research and development contributions, technical assistance, equipment bonus, and scholarships. The value of the financial obligations amount to 12.8 million United States dollars, or 87 million TT dollars, in phase 1 of the project. A successful development within this block could result in an investment of up to United States $21.7 billion. Trinidad and Tobago's deepwater areas have come into heightened focus as a result of the country's mature hydrocarbon basins on land and in shallow water, which began to show signs of aging and consequential decline in oil and gas production. As a consequence, the country's deepwater province, which has been largely unexplored, has been targeted as a potential source of oil and gas. However, exploration in our deepwater has been limited and with varying success. A new and more productive approach was needed. Today's signing represents a new chapter in the country's oil and gas history, with this deepwater province taking center stage. May I also repeat, as was said last night by the Honourable Prime Minister at a function that was slightly more lively, that this also marks the 100th day of the coming into being of the government of the United National Congress under the Honourable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. So it is a day of celebration. Today is a vote of confidence in Trinidad and Tobago's energy future by the largest publicly traded oil and gas company by market capitalization. Following this signing, we will be closing off the deepwater bid round, in which 26 deepwater blocks are on offer. The deadline was initially July, but we have now extended that to September 17th, a few days to come. We have done this because of the enormous interest by several key international players, the request for additional data and additional time. We are hopeful for a successful bid round, as interest has been high and includes a number of new and leading oil and gas companies. Oil and gas will continue to be the mainstay of our economy for some time in the future. We will be pursuing strategies to ensure the maximum exploitation of the country's hydrocarbon resources to benefit our citizens. As the Honourable Prime Minister stated in her address last evening, we are investor-friendly, and we will continue to encourage and support investment in this sector. We welcome ExxonMobil back to Trinidad and Tobago. We have followed their work in Guyana, their support to the Guyana economy and people. Notwithstanding, I think they are the main supporter of the Amazon warriors, I believe. But notwithstanding that, we welcome you. We welcome you back to Trinidad and Tobago to invest in upstream, and particularly the ultra-deep water of Trinidad and Tobago. Your return is a confirmation of this country's hydrocarbon potential and its accommodating energy policies. I look forward to working closely with you in the implementation of this venture and wish you all success. I remind particularly Cabinet colleagues that it has always been a government of the UNC that has progressed in deep water. It was during the 1995-2001 period, ladies and gentlemen, that we had our first deep water campaign. It was during 2010 to 2015 that I believe 1.2 million hectares of acreage was awarded. And from that came the Calypso project, which carries 3.5 trillion cubic feet from our decisions of 2010-15. Today, within 100 days of coming to office, we now sign off with one, as they call them, an oil major, one of the largest companies in the world. We're extremely proud. I'd like to close by thanking and congratulating Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, and the Ministry's extremely hard-working negotiating team for their dedicated work, which resulted in this historic day. I want you to give them a round of applause. And to ExxonMobil, I say welcome back. Thank you very much.